The daughter of Warren Mundine, one of the leading campaigners for the no vote, has spoken out in support of The Voice. In an exclusive interview with 10 News First, Garrigara Riley Mundine says for her, The Voice is a moral issue and described comments made by her father as hard to hear.
She's the daughter of an essential figure in the No campaign. Now Garrigara Riley Mundine wants her voice heard.
For me, it's a moral issue that I can't stay silent anymore. I have to say something.
And that includes criticising comments made by her father, Warren Mundine, who she hasn't spoken to in years. He claims that Ullaru's statement from the heart, which asked for the voice to Parliament, is a symbolic declaration of war.
It's really hard to hear the things that he's saying. I do get emotional about it because for me, that's not the man that I grew up with.
Those on the no side insist the differing views within the Mundine family is not uncommon.
But there'll be families around this country that disagree on this matter, and that's okay.
The Coalition has continued its campaign against The Voice, and it centres on the Albanese government.
All we're seeing is a government focused on The Voice and not dealing with the matters that are important to the Australian people, like cost of living.
The Prime Minister was at a childcare centre.
Oh, I wish I was 5.
And promoted his government's attempts to tackle the cost of living.
I'm continuing to be out there, engaging on the full range of issues.
But with less than 2 weeks until the referendum and early voting now opening, Anthony Albanese also sees the opportunity to articulate what The Voice means.
A non-binding advisory committee. That's all The Voice is.
That has sometimes got lost in the debate and was put to the Nationals leader.
Is the Voice of Parliament just an advisory committee?
Well, it's to give advice to the Parliament.
Both sides are now in a sprint to the finish, in a campaign where there have been some ugly elements so far, but also some more positive conversations. And for Garrigara Riley Mundine, it's deeply personal.
And honestly, it makes me angry because I feel the No campaign has really pushed that The Voice will be divisive.
Warren Mundine hasn't responded when contacted. He's currently in Western Australia for a No campaign event tonight.
I have Ashley Raper with me now at the desk, and Ash, a famous city name, has just added their voice to the Yes campaign.
Sandra, there have been a lot of big names lend themselves to the Yes campaign, but Nathan Cleary is a very big one at a crucial time. He led the Panthers to victory last night in the NRL and has the sage and speaks to people the Yes side is desperate to connect with. 2 weeks out and the Yes campaign is framing itself as the underdog. And if you look at the trajectory of the polls over time, you'd have to agree. All along, the Prime Minister has said when the campaign started and people began engaging with The Voice, he was confident public sentiment would sway to the Yes side. Well, we're at that point now and there's been no uptick in the polls so far. Early voting is now open in Victoria, Western Australia, Tasmania and the Northern Territory. There's been a public holiday, so it'll start everywhere else, including in New South Wales tomorrow. The Yes side is expected to have an advantage at polling places. It's recruited around 45,000 volunteers, which is likely to outnumber No volunteers. So when people go to vote, they'll be faced with more Yes people who will be able to hand out flyers and also talk to people. Whether it's enough, it's unclear. As the saying goes, a week is a long time in politics, and there are 2 before the referendum, but it is going to be tough for Yes to get across the line from here, Sandra.
All right, the date is certainly closing in on us. Thank you, Ash, as always.